Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Reloading with Brittany Scovel. I am your host, Brittany Scovel, and we have my special guest back.
Hi, I'm Austin.
This episode is going to be in depth of all of the trips that we talked about on episode 3.
Yep.
Starting with Africa.
Yep. So I think we knock it off right off the bat with my zebra. My zebra was it wasn't really planned, honestly. I wasn't really gonna go for a zebra, and then they told me, they're like, if you see a zebra, like,
You have to shoot it.
you have to. You're not gonna get another chance. And
The thing with zebras is they're super smart, their eyesight's good, and 30%, what they said, 30% of hunters that, I might have it opposite, but 30% of hunters that go over there, the odds of seeing a zebra and then actually shooting a zebra.
yeah, it's not very high. And
The first sit in Africa that we
35 minutes in it, I'm sitting there, and Britt goes, "Hey, look, a zebra's right there." And I'm like, "What the f did you just say?" I was like, "What? All right." And it was like 35 yards or something, and I put a perfect shot on it right behind the shoulder. And
You have to tell the next story because I didn't shoot an animal.
well, then we'll jump right into my impala. And my impala was man, I was hungover that morning. God, dude.
Was he hungover? Like I was saying,
I was like,
he was calling me baby boy in his underwear, rolling on the ground.
yeah, I was not doing good. And well, I ended up getting it done. My guide was smoking a cigarette,
Bart.
and no, Bart wasn't with me.
It was Blackie.
Yeah,
Blackie was
he
with
didn't.
you.
He didn't, give me like a thought that we'd actually kill one because, well, he was smoking a cigarette in the blind, and
Yeah, that kind of took me by surprise.
I just laid my head down for a second. I was like, "Damn, dude, like, this is bad." And he goes, "Get your bow," and I'm like, "Where, dude?" Like, turns out there was a mature impala at 15, 20 yards, and man, I freaking
Drilled him.
Oh, dude, that thing went freaking
Annihilated.
30 yards, hit a tree, and was done. I was like, dude, hell yeah.
I still can't talk because he shot another animal.
And then the third day, actually, I think it was the third morning.
I was actually hungover.
Yeah, I was hunting with Britt that day, and, well, they got the main, like, the head honcho of the whole operation came, and he was like, "Austin, you're coming with me."
That's intimidating. If you know Harry.
And I was like, "Me? Right now?" And, well, we went, and it was hour and a half probably. I had just looked out the windows, didn't see nothing, and sitting there, looked down at my phone, started playing, I think the game's called, like, Balls or something. I don't know. It was like,
Balls.
he's like, "Get your bow ready." And I swear, I just looked out the window, and I look out again, and there's like 17 gemsbok walking right towards me. And I'm like, oh, like that was my animal. That was my dream animal for that trip.
So to reiterate, we were hunting together in the morning, and then they separated us. So
Yeah, it was like 11 o'clock, I think.
Austin shot his gemsbok separate from me, and so when I get out of my blind, Austin and his PH Harry, well, head honcho, whatever you want to call him,
Yeah.
he comes up to my blind. They're picking us up, and Austin says,
Dude, I was excited, man.
"Did you hear the news? I shot a gemsbok." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
I was like, yeah, I was just joking, but stay in the truck while we walk into the woods this way.
And then I was like, I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth.
I was a little surprised too, but
I think all of us were.
yeah, that was...
And I want to back up. I was hungover. I was pissed off. I wasn't doing good. We were, 5-6 days into the 14 days we spent there, and I was crying to my mom because I wasn't shooting any of my animals. I wasn't seeing anything. Everybody was having such better luck than me. And when I got dialed on that nyala, it was game over.
Well, that wasn't even planned. You're like, "Dude, I'm tired of waiting. All right, I'm getting this nyala." You smoke showed it.
I smoke showed that.
It didn't go 20, 30 yards, did it?
No. Clean pass through, arrow, went into the little
That just
water
goes to
source.
show you don't have to have no 80-pound bow to freaking take an
No.
animal. You just got to know how to shoot.
Yeah, that, and I mean, distance in Africa, if you're shooting from a blind, it's not going to be that far. They're going to really get you, 20, 25 yards. That's the sweet spot.
Dude.
At least for Africa.
If that freaking warthog that we saw that day after,
Big omega.
if that thing would have came to 50 yards, I'd have slung my freaking arrow at it. I ain't even joking.
Next is my wildebeest.
Yep.
That's an interesting one because my PH played it off as if I had a bad shot. I wasn't going to have any hope in finding this animal. And if you're hunting in Africa, if you wound an animal, you still have to pay the full amount for what the animal is worth. So I was getting worried, because my PH was getting worried. And we had Nick with Archie Film Sports with us. He was filming. We looked over the footage over and over and over again, and we agreed that my shot placement was high. And like we talked about in episode 3, their vitals are completely different. So that was something to get used to.
But you were in an elevated blind, weren't you?
No.
No?
No. So after I shoot the wildebeest, my PH is like, I don't really have high hopes. And, I respect that. If you think that I'm not, if you think I'm not going to shoot an animal, I don't want you to, cookie coat it. And anyways, long story short, with my wildebeest, we've got the buggy pulled up, and he's still telling me nothing no words of encouragement or anything. And we pull out, not even 20 yards down the little path, my wildebeest is dead. Yeah. And I start crying, and I'm like, gosh, I wish my PH would have told Nick, because Nick had his camera, and that would have been...
Yeah, would have been cool.
The content creator in me was like, that would have been such a cool thing to have.
Yeah, for real.
Second to last day of Africa, we...
Doubled up.
Yeah, we were sitting separate.
Same morning, doubled up on waterbucks. Didn't know either one of us were going to shoot a waterbuck.
Had no intention at all.
But we both hit our waterbucks like the exact same. I think mine just had more penetration.
Yours did, and my arrow went in sideways. I had a heart shot, and it hit rib cage, and deflected, went in sideways. And
they found yours.
That was a 15-mile.
They found yours that day, though, didn't they?
Yes.
And mine was a whole nother day, and that was the day before we left.
Big old rifle guy. You want to get into that?
Oh, me missing with a rifle? Yeah, dude. I'm not fucking...
Well, granted,
I'm
were
shaking
in the bush.
And I see this thing, dude. I'm like...
It wasn't a clear shot at all.
No, not at all.
And these animals are tough.
And he's like, reload and shoot again. I'm like, just take the damn gun, dude. Like,
just do it for me.
I'm a bow hunter, dude. Like, I ain't no Navy SEAL.
It was the last day we were tracking for Austin's, because he didn't, with the rifle, he didn't successfully shoot it. So we went out the next day. And at this point, I'll go into the tracking of my waterbuck, but I'll just finish Austin's. It's the second to last day. And we're literally on the last, last square mile of this piece of property that we're on, and we're like, okay, this is it, we're not going to find this thing. And we start walking back.
He literally says, everyone just walk about 20 feet apart that way. And
he probably expired 30 minutes prior to us finding him.
That was crazy.
And my waterbuck,
I hear is, hey, come on. And I'm like, and I have the rifle, and I take off running, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And as soon as we took pictures and stuff, one of the PHs, I think it was Gary, he's like, hey, catch. And it was waterbuck shit.
He threw a nugget right into her hand.
Thanks. Love those guys.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, so then my waterbuck, that resulted in a 15, 17-mile trek, whatever. I don't know. Nobody's keeping tabs. I'm not cool if it was 15. I'm not cool if it was 17. But it took a bow, a rifle, and a pistol to kill my waterbuck. And if that doesn't tell you how strong these animals are, I don't know what will.
Yeah, they said the waterbucks are one of the strongest. I'm pretty sure, when it comes to, the willpower they have, I'm pretty sure waterbucks are actually one of the strongest animals in Africa. Mm-hmm.
So then the next trip we did was in August, and we went to East Texas Love Lady with Ace Outfitters, and that was a unique one, and specifically for a beneficial two-way trade. That was a high fence place. That's not something that we've ever done. I respect the angle. No dissing to it. I love that it can get people who have, disabilities, or someone who's in a wheelchair. That's an easy, accessible thing for them to do. Mm-hmm. The whitetail,
I'm not a big fan of the whitetail.
But I respect the breeding process when it comes to whitetails and genetics. And
yeah, they take care of their animals. It's just, I don't like
us
watching
being from Iowa.
I don't like seeing a deer walk around with its head crooked or nothing.
Yeah,
that does not sit well.
We initially went to East Texas for, I would call it a marketing trade. They were wanting to, boost
their Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And who would turn down a free trip? So, we caught a flight and we were there.
Yep, and I went and I got 3 axis does and...
You did. I shot an access buck, and that was a unique one because it was a part of the Texas freeze that happened, and it don't get cold in Texas. So when it starts to get, what was the temperatures when
we went?
When the freeze happened?
It was negatives. I'm pretty sure it was when they had that big freeze and there was all those pile ups and everything.
Yes.
I'd say it was probably 10.
But my access is unique because in the horns you can see like. The horns, like they're fried off, they're burnt off, they're crisp. So it's pretty cool to see the discoloration in the antlers. And
it's something because the axis deer's horns are growing during the cold time.
Mm-hmm. And so we finished that trip up with a black buck, and Austin caught
I caught a cold.
Yeah, we caught nothing but freaking running fevers and blurry vision because Texas is hot, and you do not want to be sitting in a freaking buddy blind, 3 people deep.
Was that the one I was going for an aoudad? Yeah, I think it was because I was
it was the only one on that property.
Only aoudad on that property. Couldn't find him. But then there was that oryx that I almost went after, but I just decided not to.
And in between that trip, we actually went back January 2022 to the same place, but we invited all of our friends to go. But in between Texas, we were doing a lot of pheasant hunting. I think that was your first time going with us.
Yeah, first time pheasant hunting.
Every November, my family tries to make it a point to do a family hunt. Get the dogs involved. It's extra training for them. Yeah. Good way to get everybody involved. And my grandma and grandpa were there, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pheasant hunting. So we're back into Texas of January.
Well, you skipped whitetail hunting, but I mean, there wasn't much. There was 2 does.
I completely skipped whitetail hunting. There wasn't anything exciting that happened other than Austin shot 2 does, and I was in between figuring out if I was going to do some public hunting or stick to the ground that's 3 hours away.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I passed on a 140 that year.
You did, because that's the year you got your Tacticam, and you didn't film anything with that.
Just that bobcat, I think.
To jump back into Texas. We go back to Texas in January of 2022, and that's when we bring all of our friends, and that was a good way to get all of our social media friends in person in one place and not have to really think much other than that.
Enjoy the things that we all love to do.
Yep.
Me and Cody are 2 peas in a pod, I tell you what.
Cody, the one and only Cody, if you know him.
Oh my gosh, me and Cody are like...
And Austin shot an aoudad that trip with his bow, and I shot a red sheep with the whole trip. Everybody, we had 15 people with me. Everybody was on that pond dam watching me shoot my red sheep. Yeah. Do you know how infuriating that was when I couldn't see the red sheep in the scope, but everybody around me could? I was looking in that damn scope for probably a good 5 minutes.
Dude, don't worry. Crocodile Dundee over here got that job done.
He finished my red sheep.
Chased it down, stuck it.
Stuck it! He's pretty proud of that.
And then I put the right on my face.
He did. Yeah. Carlton did F. Joe Biden on his face with blood. Turkey with Josh Bomar. So
yeah, that was...
Speed up to spring. We are in southern Iowa turkey hunting with one of the people that we most look up to. One of my biggest female inspirations is Sarah Bomar, and we got to turkey hunt with the one and only Josh Bomar, and that's something that we are never going to ever let go of.
Pulled in there, I'm like, dude, my bow's sighted in. I just shot it I put like freaking hundreds of arrows through it before we went with him, and I pull it back, and it just freaking... Yeah, blows up. Blows up.
We did a spot and stock, and I killed a big mature tom in the same field that Superstar was killed in. If you know Josh and you know that, YouTube, you've probably seen the video of Superstar. So
yeah, you killed it, right? Like
the gun I used, he didn't even.
Where you found your?
I was the first one to shoot the gun, and so I was having a hard time finding the trigger because it wasn't a gun that I wasn't used to. I've never shot it. I was just trusting Josh's instinct. And when we're standing behind a turkey fan, a reaper, we've got a big old mature tom coming at us. He's 10 yards away from
man. He was coming for my ass.
He's 10 yards away from us, and I'm like, Josh, help me! I can't find the trigger. or the safety. And I'm like, Josh, help me. He's got his, camera on the side of the turkey fan, and he's recording. And I finally find, my finger feels the little grip for it. I have to blast that thing. I'm like, we are literally going to get spurred if I don't find this.
And that thing had 2-inch spurs on it. Almost 2 inch.
Big old spurs.
Yeah, that was like
2 3/4?
No, not that big. It was
two.
It were like, one was right above 1 3/4 inch, and the other one was about 2 inches.
You had double beard.
No, I think mine had a double beard, and the one beard was 13 inches. And I shot half the damn freaking beard off because my dumb ass shot it in the chest. God, dude.
So he was a little bummed that he didn't shoot his first turkey with his bow, but
yeah,
that was still an awesome thing to experience.
This year I shot 2 arrows at turkeys this year. Don't try to shoot at turkeys without a rangefinder, all right? Honestly, the one would have taken it, but he put its head down and he just right over its head.
After spring turkey, we jumped right into your first year of guiding.
Yeah, that was fun. It was crazy. Definitely something I would love to do for the rest of my life, but it's time to, I think, move on and do bigger and better things.
Yeah, that was...
I think I'm going to try to guide this year.
Oh, this guy. This guy. He was guiding, and I was also trying to maneuver and figure out how to hunt public, because we had moved 2 hours away from a hometown, and it wasn't convenient every weekend to go up to the properties that I used to hunt growing up. So I'm still learning public land. It's completely different from hunting private your whole life. So
hunting what you already know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, hey,
I've been learning
did good.
A lot.
You almost did get yourself a good deer.
I did.
I was like, dude, fucked. Shoot it. What are you doing?
Well, okay. I wanted to wait. I was in an area where I knew there was bigger bucks, but the buck that came in, he was, I had pictures of him.
He was a 140-inch deer, I'd say.
Yes. He came in, second time seeing him, he's at 40 yards. I saw him, he slowly walks in, and there was a freeze the day before. And so my tree stand had icicles all up and down it. This buck comes right under my tree stand. I'm ready. I've got my camera ready. I've got my bow ready. I hit the tree stand just right with my foot, and an icicle fell from the bottom. And the tree stand that I was in, it was in a double ladder stand. So it was a buddy stand, and it had that little rail. He was literally right. I could not pull back, and then he started to walk away once that sickle hit the floor.
I just realized.
The floor. Wow. Yeah.
Was it 2021 whenever I hit that deer? With my bow, 165? No. Or was it 2022? 2022.
Man. Yeah, that's not in here.
But dude, that freaking deer, that was a heartbreaker. So I had reused my
big buck
arrow from Africa that I normally would keep in there for like a coyote or something. I was just in such a rush because the deer came out of nowhere, did not expect it to come out, and it was at 50 yards, I think. Maybe 60, I don't remember. Man, I pulled back. As soon as I shot, all I heard was zzz fly off that arrow. And, oh, dude, I watched that arrow hit it high and back and was just like, put my head down. I was like, dude, this is...
We could insert that picture if you want, but...
Yeah, 2 years in a row, man, freaking...
It's heartbreaking.
165-inch deer 2 years in a row at 25 yards 2 years ago. I had one last year at 150 at 15, but didn't know it was that big because it was right at shooting light.
Just sidetrack completely, but that's what makes me mad on social media is when people think that you're not a whitetail hunter because you don't shoot a deer every single year.
Yeah.
We live in the one and only state that has big bucks, and we know how to...
I wouldn't say
Ohio, Nebraska,
there's
Kansas.
Giant deer everywhere.
I'd say Iowa, though, has got the...
Ohio's got the freaking juice, but Iowa is probably where I would choose to hunt when it comes to anything. I mean, Missouri's pretty close to it, just with only difference is you can rifle hunt there, and you can get over-the-counter tags, and it's just overpopulated with hunters.
And, I mean, residents of Iowa, I would say we're pretty good at maintaining animal populations and making sure we're not killing off the small bucks that aren't
really
even
good about that.
Not so much the out-of-staters you go down south a little bit, but
there's been some times I've seen some deer get taken while I was guiding, and I'm like, oh, dude, that deer had so much potential, man. Like one was like a maybe 2-year-old, and he was a 130-inch deer already. Like, it had a drop time coming and everything. And I'm like, dude, did you really just shoot this deer?
After we got familiar with public land, it was...
Yeah, I think we went into muzzleloader hunting, and I ended up getting one off of Bomar's property, actually. And that was pretty...
You're with your cousin, right?
Yeah, Dalton was videoing me. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Next year, we get really into waterfowl, which took us all by surprise.
Yeah.
It's when Austin was in Colorado with the Amish, and that's kind of, the birth of Platte Basin and how we got familiar with Platte Basin. And that was really when it started to take off for waterfowl and me. And it wasn't until, my 4th or 5th trip out to Colorado that Austin finally joined in.
Yeah, and oh man, did I have fun.
It was tons of fun.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be as much fun as it was, but it was fun. I had a good time with it. Yep,
we went to Wyoming, Colorado, got with the Cryptech crew out in Wyoming.
And we went down and hunted waterfowl with fowl storm chasers.
Yep, in Oklahoma.
Yeah, in Oklahoma.
Negative temperatures for that. We just got back from there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and my freaking heat went out of my truck. Oh.
It was really cold.
I was ready to light my truck on fire that day.
Who all did we have with us? We had Carlton.
Yeah, Carlton, Elva.
Caleb, Austin, Jameson.
I think that's everybody, isn't it?
I don't want to miss anybody.
I don't mean either, dude. I feel like we are. I feel like, oh, shit.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We had a good group there. That's all that matters.
Yeah, definitely.
So with Platte Basin, how we kind of got the ball rolling with waterfowl, I was kind of like, a lot of people think when they see me on social media tied with Platte Basin Outdoors, they think that I'm automatically going to be some kind of waterfowl guide. And that's not what I want myself to look like at all, because I'm new. I'm not worthy to be a guide, and I don't want people to think that, I just came into this outdoors, outfitting company, and I'm going to claim myself to be a guide. But what my role kind of with Platte Basin Outdoors was to be their marketing person. So I would come in, they would, teach me, take me on hunts, and we just have a fun time. And then I would share what we did on social media, and that has really helped him grow his business. And this has always been a dream for Mike, is doing something like this. And he's been, 2 years deep? Platte Basin, he's pretty new.
Yeah, he is still pretty new.
Love him.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good.
I like him. Like him a lot. They're good people.
They take care of me when I'm over there, when I'm always catching flights out to Colorado. And that's always, a thing that needs to be talked about is safety, especially being a woman traveling by myself. So just to know that I have a good group of people there with me, they're going to protect me and treat me like family when I'm not home, is awesome. We got Oscar over here looking.
You also went to Canada with him.
I did. Yeah, we went to Canada.
Golly, Oscar. Dang, Oscar, jumping. Here. He just came through this hole in the wires.
Yeah, we went to Canada, and that was, who did we go up there with? It was me. You didn't go. Black Dog Outfitter in Colorado. We were in Edmonton. It was so much fun. That was a once-in-a-lifetime trip that I think everybody, if you were in waterfowl, you need to at least go to Canada and experience what that type of rush is, and it's just a lot of fun. Different pace.
How was it compared to Wyoming?
Way more birds.
Really?
Everywhere you looked.
Oh my god.
Even when you weren't, just birds everywhere, covered.
That's crazy. Because there was a ton of birds in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
You need to come up to Canada sometime.
I think I might have to.
Yeah. Well, I think that about sums up all of the trips that we've been on. We definitely skipped a couple.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which ones we've skipped, but we can touch up on that on a different episode. But you probably noticed that we have different clothes on and a different setting. We're actually in Des Moines with Abby Graves Productions. She's sitting behind the camera here helping us today. So this is probably how we're going to wrap up episode 4.
Yeah, it was fun. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Awesome. All right, guys, stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, drop a review. Do what you got to do. This is Reloading with Brittany Scovel, and we are out.
Peace.